Hi, everyone. Welcome to our August 2023 Ask the Expert interview. I am happy to have Denisha Henry back with me again from KODA. She was on with me back in April talking about organ donation. And during that time, she mentioned that August was an important month at KODA. So we wanted to have her back on to talk about August being National Minority Donor Awareness Month. So thank you, Denisha, for being with me today.
Thank you for having me back. I'm happy to be here again with you, Jennifer.
Perfect. So first of all, just give me a little recap and review of what you do at KODA.
Okay, so I work in community outreach for KODA. So it's my job to educate on the importance of the donor registry, to dispel myths and misconceptions, and to answer questions about donation and transplantation, primarily in our multicultural communities. But I'll speak to anybody.
Perfect. So this is a big month, especially in your role, because it is Minority Donor Awareness Month. So what all are you doing specifically and other staff members at KODA doing to promote this during August?
Okay, so, and I know that National Minority Donor Awareness Month. That is a mouthful to say. We are planning some interviews. We This will be one of several interviews that we're doing this month. We will be participating with Price Elementary in a back to school bash that they're having. We were just there 2 weeks ago and we had a very successful movie night event. We have a recipient who will be celebrating. She celebrated turning 10 and it'll be her 10th year heart transplant anniversary. And then later on in the month, we will be at Kentucky State University. We had a donor, Lee Carter, who was an alumni of Kentucky State University. They're having a 3K and a health fair. So we want to be there to support the students at KSU and to help honor our donor, Lee Carter. So we're pretty busy this month.
Awesome. All right. So it's always important any month of the year to just share and educate, the importance of organ and tissue donation. But from your job specifically, why is it so important to spread the information to minorities, here in Kentucky and across America, about organ donation?
Well, it's important for a number of reasons. When we're dealing with these communities, uh, these are the communities who have the least amount of trust in healthcare. And, for good reasons. We're talking about generations of people who have, in one way or another, been affected by racism or racial bias or lack of availability or access to quality healthcare. And so, at the same time, this is the same group of people who suffer disproportionately from health conditions like high blood pressure or heart failure, diabetes, kidney disease, those same conditions that would have them end up needing an organ. And so we're just, like I said, there to build that trust, to provide the education, and to be accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are some statistics that you can share about minorities being donors,
Okay,
whether
well,
it's locally or nationally?
so we'll start nationally. In 2022, there were about 14,900 deceased donors. Of that number, about 9,700 of those donors were white. 2,385 were Black. 2,313 were either Hispanic or Latino. 385 were Asian. There were 128 American Indian or Alaska Native donors and 43 Pacific Islander donors. So as you can see, those numbers, the numbers for the minority donors don't add up or don't even equal to the amount of the white donors that there were for that year.
And then here in Kentucky, are the numbers kind of similar?
So in Kentucky, there are 2.3 million registered donors. We don't necessarily capture race by the registry, but we can look back at a year or look within a year to see what the race was for the donors, for the number of donors that there were for that year. So in 2022, and I'm looking back a year because the numbers are more complete. So in 2022 in Kentucky, there were 259 deceased donors. 220 of those 259 donors were white, 35 were Black, 3 were Hispanic or Latino, and there was 1 Pacific Islander donor. So again, you can see the disparity in the amount of either people who were registered or whose families said yes to donation. So we don't track, it's sort of a backtrack way to track the numbers, but.
And then I know, you don't have, when you donate, you don't have to, a lot of times, like, it's not that if you're African American, you have to receive an organ from an African American. But let's talk about receiving end now. So people who are receiving organ and tissue donations, any demographics that you can share with us
Okay.
nationally and locally, just to see, we know that there are less minorities who are becoming donors, but what's the waiting list look like?
So the waiting list, and I have the numbers for Kentucky. So in Kentucky right now, there are 987 people waiting for an organ. And so I'm doing Kentucky because sometimes a state's demographics don't necessarily match up with the local demographics for the country. So in Kentucky, 987 Kentuckians are waiting for a transplant. And I want to put that number out there. 987 of our fellow Kentuckians are waiting for a transplant. 72% of that list are patients who are white. 23% are Black or non-Hispanic. 1.9% are Hispanic Latino, 1.9% are Asian, and then less than 1% are Pacific Islander, and less than 0.2% are multiracial. So the need is still great. And we were talking about, you had mentioned that you don't have to be of the same race. The donor and the recipient don't have to be of the same race, but you have a better long-term survival rate when organs are shared between members who have the same shared ethnic background.
So it's not a requirement, but it is helpful.
It is helpful
for the
right
recipient.
Right. And so when you have fewer organs from a specific ethnic pool, then that can affect numbers long term. So that's why it's important. We're doing this work for the people who are on the list.
Right. Yeah. And so for the people who are on the list and for people who, have a desire to help, how, where, and tell us, just how easy it is to sign up to be a donor.
Well, it can be just as easy as saying yes when you go to renew your driver's license with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And you know that with the Real IDs coming, we're going to be moving from a 4-year system to an 8-year system. And so we're going to be capturing fewer opportunities for people to say yes when they either get their driver's license or renew. We have partnered with the Volunteers of America. They have a program for their participants that will allow them, when they're on their portal, to register to become an organ and tissue donor. You can also, if you're applying for state benefits, the state has, through their portal, an opportunity for people to register. And then if you have an iPhone, I think they're working with Android users, but you can register through the health app that way, and it maybe takes less than 2 minutes. It doesn't take a lot of your time
Mhm.
to do so.
Very good. Um, what other resources can you share? People who are seeing this and they're really kind of on the edge. And they just want to look things up, get some more information. Yeah, I know your all's website is a wealth of knowledge, but that, and then are there any other resources that you would suggest?
Yes. So our website, you can go to Donate Life Kentucky, and that's KY. So donatelifeky.org. You can visit the Donate Life America website. That's donatelife.net. And I know this is an easy answer, but just a quick Google search will bring up a ton of other websites that you can visit. Because when I do it, I will listen and say, oh, there's two websites, but I want to know something else. And so a quick Google search will result in a plethora of options for you.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, I know it's the easy answer, but
That
it gives you just a,
easy
vi-
is
a
what we all have time
right,
for, so that's good.
right. Yeah.
Um, I was just thinking of this. Do you all have any goals for this month and you know at your events that you're having? Do you have signups there as well?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that we have any goals. I mean, I guess our main goal is just to always be providing clear and accurate information, to be out in the community, to be um, a recognizable and trustworthy name for the community. Um, and again, to make people aware of, you know, organ donation is such a rare opportunity. So of all the 2.3 million Kentuckians who have registered, only about 1% of those people are going to die in a way that they can even become an organ donor. And so it's just like I said, it's my personal goal. I don't know if I shared this the first time, but I am a member of a donor family. I had to say yes on behalf of my 17-year-old daughter. And so, and that was 13 years ago, she became an organ donor. So I just want people to know that this is a process, that something that I've walked through personally, that I've seen up front. It's not something that, I've been taught or I've learned as part of my job responsibility. And I've seen firsthand how saying yes can save a life and change a life. So the goal for me always is to just be a trustworthy source, um, and to, how do I say this? To be trustworthy and to be accountable and to be transparent. Organ donation is a process. We watch these TV shows, and the beginning of a show, there's this tragic accident, and by the end, which it all looks like it happens in a day, um, you know, the patient next door who just happens to be in the room next door is getting the donor's heart, and it doesn't work like that. It takes time. So I just always want to encourage families, if you're registered, to share that decision with your person who would be making your end of life decisions, and to do the homework. You say yes to something, you should know. I want people to know what it is that they're signing up for. And so, like I said, it is a process. um and so that's my main goal, um for this month and really every month.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. We really appreciate you being on with us today. Just is there anything else that you wanted to share as we kind of wrap up?
Well, again, anyone can register to be an organ donor. If you are, share your decision and do your research. Understand that it is a process. So, and follow us on social media. Donate Life Kentucky, I believe it is, on Facebook, or Kentucky Organ Donor Affiliates if it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I know you all will be out and about in the community a lot this month, and every month you always have something going on. So we appreciate you taking the time to be on with me today, and thank you for sharing. And again, if anyone has any questions or needs information, KODA's website is a great one to look at to get any kind of information about organ, tissue, eye donation. all of that. They're all lumped together there. So thank you again, Denisha, and we appreciate you being on our August 2023 Ask the Expert interview. And we hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. See you the next time.